This is brilliant, but I like this.
Welcome back again to a new episode of DeepDockReviews. Today with a discussion, a very, modern discussion, basically. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, which, how should you? I mean, you could maybe guess it from the thumbnail and the title and stuff, but whatever. There's a new indie game called Crowsworn. I would just say Crowsworn. And it's an indie game produced by Mongoose Rodeo. God damn it, these names. And we've had the news coming that Matthew Griffin, also known as Leth, is actually going to be helping with the marketing of said game, or is at least somehow involved in it. He's been saying that on his Twitter and stuff, and they somehow reached out to him or something, and he kind of accepted, and it all just kind of happened. It was very fun reading it on Twitter. And many people have been talking about this game in the last few days and maybe even weeks in the Hollow Knight community. For people who were saying that it's a very clone-y type of game. Now, the Hollow Knight community always had sort of like this kind of eye on Hollowvanias. You could call them a Hollow Knight, where it's a game that's obviously very much inspired by Hollow Knight and its success. And sometimes it was very obvious that it was a, not so successful clone. Other times, I would say it was more on the inspiration side. Now, Crowsworn is the newest example of this sort of trend, and another YouTuber that you probably know, mossbag, has started the kind of discussion a bit where he saw other people saying that it's just another Hollow Knight clone, and he said that it wasn't fair for the developers who put so much effort into this game, even though they may have taken inspiration from Hollow Knight in the first place. And other people have now come and said, well, not really, it looks more like a bloody clone, like a cheap ripoff, like something that was just taken from the Silksong trailer and now will have its own spin on it, possibly trying to kind of cash into the Silksong hype. So what's my kind of view on this topic? Well, I for one believe that it's a very interesting looking game. I believe that it's going to be a very interesting game to play, especially if it comes out before Silksong, because that could maybe show us some kind of, an interesting dynamic with a game that's obviously inspired by a series or a game that hasn't even come out yet. I mean, some of the locations do look very similar, and I wouldn't go out of my way of saying like they ripped it out of the trailer or out of the game or whatever. I would just be saying that they took inspiration and made something new out of it. Because for me, it looks very much, at least, different enough to be its own game and to show its own dynamic and features and characters and story and lore and all of that stuff. And we don't even know when it's going to come out yet. I think they announced that they're going to do the campaign is going to start sometime soon, but the game itself will probably still take a while, maybe even a few years. I don't think it's going to come out when Silksong releases, probably even after that one. Just some time between the big sequel and like a little game that's possibly inspired by it. So what are your guys' opinions on this game? Do you think it's a cheap clone? Do you think it's a game that is worth standing on its own? Do you think it's possibly better than Silksong, even though we don't have Silksong yet, so that comparison wouldn't really work? So what am I even talking about? Well, I for one welcome new indie developers, and I welcome Crowsworn into the Hollow Metroidvania type-ish community. So good for Mongoose Rodeo. Check out their Twitter down in the description below, and speak soon.